And tonight we stay with the outbreak of the coronavirus, and as it continues to wreak havoc on global economies, Ghana's pharmaceutical chamber is worried about a possible shortage of drugs. This is because the world's largest producer and exporter of essential drugs, India, has banned the exports of some 25 essential drug ingredients as it prepares for an outbreak of the virus. Chairman of the Chamber for Pharmacy, Harrison Kofi-Aboagye-Wiafe, tells Joy Business the development could impact local pharmaceutical firms in the long run. There's more in this report.
The Pharmaceutical Chamber of Ghana says the coronavirus outbreak could have an impact on Ghana as it relies heavily on China and India for drug ingredients. The coronavirus has reached astronomical levels as economies like China and Italy remains on lockdown. So far, India, a global hub and supplier of essential drug ingredients to European and emerging markets, has placed a ban on the export of essential drug ingredients as the country prepares to stock up against a possible outbreak of the virus. Speaking to Joy Business at the media launch and unveiling of a logo for the 2020 Ghana Pharmaceutical Expo, Chairman of the National Executive Council under the Chamber of Pharmacy Ghana, Harrison Kofi-Aboagye-Wiafe, explained the ban has dire implications on the local industry.
China has a big raw material setup, and therefore if it hits that hard, that could be a problem.
The restricted drugs include paracetamol, one of the world's most widely used pain relievers. Meanwhile, Harrison Kofi-Aboagye-Wiafe has urged pharmaceutical companies to alert government to any imminent shortage.
If there are going to be shortages, they should warn people, they should warn the government or put an alert that there's likely to be the shortage of this, and therefore maybe ask the government to find alternative sources of supply.
Meanwhile, the Chamber of Pharmacy Ghana unveiled a logo for the 2020 Ghana Pharmaceutical Expo, which will center on making Ghana a pharmaceutical hub within the sub-region. Here is Deputy Minister of Health, Alexander Kofi-Aban.
The Ministry of Health is looking forward to a successful GAFEX 2020 that would create the needed networking environment for the key stakeholders, both from the international and the local pharmaceutical industries.
The expo is under the theme Making Ghana a Pharmaceutical Hub, Opportunities and Partnerships.
Now, electricity consumers in the Ashanti region may have to wait for another 2 weeks to see improvement in power supply. There have been interruptions in Kumasi and some other communities. A fire outbreak at Aboagye-Wiafe line last month caused the collapse of a power pylon, resulting in power cuts at some suburbs, including Ridge and the airport roundabout area. The Electricity Company of Ghana says phase 1 of the restoration project has been completed. Manager in charge of projects, Frederick Kwabna Bediako, has been given some updates to Love FM's Chrissy Deborah.
Abu and his friend Mohammed have 2 days to complete plastering of this 10-unit bathhouse. They have similar jobs in other parts of this enclave. The Valentine Inferno reduced these structures to ashes.
That very day, I loot about 500 Ghana cedis things, provisions.
Not only bathhouses and wooden sheds were affected. A high-tension power pylon came crashing down and left many residents in darkness.
Papa, this is my dad. My fridge. Me too in tones you. Me too in tones you. Me never know. Yes.
Officials of the ECG have been inspecting work on the reconstruction of the pylon. Frederick Kwabna Bediako is manager in charge of projects.
But we've been able to find alternatives, and we've restored power to the communities within that particular enclave. We have completed one section of the line, and then we have tested, and then it's okay to be able to pick the load for the substation. By close of week, we should be able to transfer the substation onto the line. And then within 2 weeks, we'll complete the entire project. Yes, this is the system we are running. And obviously there could be faults, there could be unannounced faults. But we try as much as possible to restore power as quickly as possible and make sure that our engineers are always around the clock working hard to be able to restore power. So power cuts, yes, you cannot really say that power will be on 100%. And that is why we have indices that we even follow. The PURC give us indices that we make sure that we fall within the indices. So our reliability is very key to us, and we try as much as possible to make sure that we provide them with reliable source of power. As for power cuts, yes, we admit there's going to be some power cuts. I will try as much as possible to limit it or restore power as quickly as possible when there's a power cut.
For JoyNews, Kwesi Deborah.
Well, still related to power, the managing director of the Electricity Company of Ghana, Aboagye-Wiafe, says the recently launched ECG app for online patronage of electricity has received very high patronage from some consumers since its introduction. The ECG app launched last month as part of government's efforts to digitize the economy as it works towards a cashless economy. Mr. Aboagye-Wiafe tells Joy Business the app has also created an opportunity for more feedback from customers.
Known as ECG Power, the mobile application is designed to make the purchase of electricity bills and payments of bills more convenient for customers of the Electricity Company of Ghana. Users of smartphones can download the app from the Google Play Store or Apple App Store to enjoy the service, whereas users of non-smartphones can dial *226# and follow the prompts to enjoy the service. Speaking to Joy Business, Managing Director of ECG said the new app has received massive patronage since its introduction.
People are enjoying the app very well. We have about 3.8 million customers. 2.1 customers are postpaid, which is credit meters. We have 1.7 million customers who are prepaid meters. But out of the 1.7, we have 700,000 customers who have smart meters, and they are enjoying very well. And those who doesn't have the smart meters are also enjoying them by using the USSD *226#, which is very good. People are making more complaints on the app than before. Instead of calling, you can purchase and make a complaint at the same time. If there's any suggestions, you can also bring on board. As we see right now, our purchase has increased. People are using the app very well.
The ECG boss also added a new digital platform for easy application and registration for services will be introduced soon.
We are trying to also go online, whereby if you apply for service, you don't have to go to our service centers. You can stay in the comfort of your house and then apply online, make payment, and later on, the last thing you see is somebody in your house plugging in the meter for you.
For Joy Business, Sheila Tamaklo reporting.
In other news, tonight, the Bank of Ghana has agreed with stakeholders to extend the deadline for mobile money operators and financial technology companies to meet their minimum capital requirements from June to December 2020. This forms part of moves by the central bank to ensure that all operators meet the requirement before the set date. The central bank has also agreed to allow 50% of assets to be considered as part of the capital requirements, whilst the other 50% is paid up capital that will be held at the central bank. Head of Payment Systems at the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Seto Ameduku, disclosed this in a remark on behalf of the Governor of the Bank of Ghana at the Maiden Mobile Technology for Development Conference in Accra. Here's more in this report.
The Bank of Ghana last year announced June 2020 as a deadline for all mobile money operators, including telecom firms and banks engaged in mobile money transactions, to meet the minimum requirement to lose the operating licenses. The requirement forms part of the regulation process as prescribed by the Payments and Settlements Bill, which was passed last year. Speaking at the Mobile Technology for Development Conference in Accra, Head of Payment Systems, Dr. Seto Ameduku, said the central bank has revised the requirement and also extended the date to December 2020.
All fintechs are to use 50%, or existing fintechs are to use 50% of their existing assets, verifiable assets, as part of the paid-up capital, and 50% to be held at the Bank of Ghana. In addition, the governance framework and infrastructure requirement deadline has also been extended to December 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, the importance of financial inclusion for growth and development cannot be overemphasized. It is generally accepted that financial inclusion boosts economic growth and poverty reduction through channels such as savings, mobilization, and resource allocation. Most importantly, to central bankers, financial inclusion supports our efforts to maintain price stability.
Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who launched a conference organized by the Ghana Chamber of Telecoms, applauded efforts by operators to digitize the economy. He advocated the yet-to-be-introduced universal QR code system and says it will make payments for services easier.
Use and pay your trotro fare. It's very simple. No quarrels about changes. So we need to now move in that direction where we are using this mobile technology to actually effectively make Ghana a cash-light society at the merchant level. I think this is where we are going. And Ghana is, of course, when we launch it in 2 weeks' time, we will be the first country in Africa to have a universal QR code. First country. QR codes are here, but they are not interoperable. And we are bringing in together the standards that will make it interoperable so that whether you are using Airtel or Tigo or Vodafone or MTN, it's still going to be interoperable. That's what we are asking. So we are asking for cooperation for everybody to make it a success. It will be very, very good for Ghana, and we will be joining an elite. Singapore only launched their universal QR code last year.
The two-day conference brought together all telecom sector players to deliberate on ways of advancing the digital drive. Ibn Sabute's report for Joy Business.
Now, Senior Minister Yao Safo has retweeted government's commitment to achieving its objective of one district, one factory initiative. According to him, Ghana's business environment is ripe and has urged the private sector companies to take advantage of the positive macroeconomic environment to launch into the ECOWAS market. He stated this at the commissioning of the United Foods Industries Ghana Limited, producers of Indomie, instant noodles and spaghetti.
The company entered into the Ghanaian market in 2006 and has now built an ultra-modern factory with the hope of sustaining the market gains. Senior Minister Yao Safo expressed hope that Ghana will be the gateway of trade to Africa. He stressed that government under the One District, One Factory initiative will continue to provide the right atmosphere and grant tax waivers to companies ready to establish in the country.
Is the Indomie production plant, which has seen a new investment of about $20 million, produces about 30,000 tons of Indomie and 8,000 tons for spaghetti. It's a state-of-the-art production line. You don't see anybody touch anything. It's all automated and therefore becomes very competitive. We have special incentive package, not only for them, but for all the 1D, one-off factories, such as you have duty payment on your plant and machinery will be zero. You are given some tax incentives or tax breaks depending on your type of imports.
The Minister for Trade and Industry, Alan Tremantin, in his address enumerated some key benefits the facility will bring to the state.
This particular project is bringing in foreign direct investment and therefore contributing to government's vision of a Ghana beyond aid. But it goes beyond that. We are also saving foreign exchange. But even goes beyond that. It's about also creating jobs. The number one challenge confronting our country is to create jobs, particularly for our youth.
Managing Director for the United Foods Industries Ghana Limited in an interview praised government for the opportunity created. According to him, the importation of Indomie coupled with the unstable currency was taking a toll on their business.
So the major important part was that when we were importing, it was all dollar pricing. So the CD was acting funny and it was going up and down. So it is because our product is a one CD product. We cannot just pass it on. So by doing this this one now, it is very easy because we can control the raw material pricing. So that makes us very much conducive for us, and even the environment here is very conducive. So all these things adds up because we have put up an first automation plant. It is not even in our Nigerian operations, but this is one of the most automated plants. So here the skilled labor is very important.
The United Foods Industry Ghana Limited will add to the list of companies commissioned under the One District, One Factory initiative, which government touts as an agenda to industrialize the economy. Fred Duhos reports for Joy Business.
Trade facilitation company Ghana Community Network Services Limited, GCNet, has rejected claims of not having a full end-to-end customs management system for entry points within the country. According to GCNet, the government should be blamed or should blame itself for engaging other vendors, even though the current system it has deployed is a complete solution that aids clearing of goods and revenue generation. GCNet's reaction is coming at a time government has made a strong case to end the contract of current vendors, including GCNet, and replace them with a new integrated customs management system, Unipass. But the Deputy General Manager in charge of technical issues at GCNet, Kawasaki, who spoke to Joy Business's Northern Aboagye-Wiafe, says government's current posture is unfortunate.
First is the fact that government owns a stake in GCNet. If you look at government entities for which government has actually, I'm looking at, say, last year, where they consider GCNet to be an SOE, and you want to juxtapose us against the mining companies that government has a stake in, the banks, we're actually number 2. It's only one of the mining companies that comes before GCNet. So from that perspective, you suddenly start questioning, why would you look at a company that you recognize as a high-performing state-owned enterprise, you own 35% of, and you want to take such a decision? That's one. The second thing, the second reason why I personally don't agree with government's decision is that really, there's no technical basis for the arguments that have been made. I mean, we've had many different arguments, and I don't think that the arguments on its own carry any merit, because systems are living beings. If you actually have any real reasons for saying that I want to change the system, as opposed to just saying end-to-end system or this is our own system, those things are stuff that you can actually interrogate. And
government says that too many vendors around the port, and they just want one vendor to handle everything. Finally, we understand that even those doing CTN and all that will be made to go. So one single vendor. Question, is it that you don't have what it takes to do all these jobs at the port?
Okay, so, if government says too many vendors, GCNet did not engage the vendors. Government engaged vendors. So clearly, what we're looking at here is that there's an issue of policy coherence. So CTN is a creation of government. I think that government brought them in 2 years ago to come and do something. Government brought another entity in from Ministry of Finance to come and do, they call them SML to do yes. something else. It was government that brought West Blue in to replace the destination inspection companies, even though the GCNet contract mandated us to do end-to-end. But then clearly in the space that GCNet was, there were other entities playing. And so if you are looking at end-to-end, you can go back and unravel how those companies were brought into place and say that, okay, if I want to do end-to-end, this is how I'm going to sort it, rather than say that I'm going to do what you're doing. Because personally, I really don't see that as a fault of GCNet. GCNet in no way, and in any time these things have been issued, GCNet actually writes to government to say, look, you are actually in breach of what you're supposed to be doing. You are bringing parties in, even though there are technical solutions, there are systems that perform the functions.
Okay, you say that your contract talks about end-to-end. Today, as you sit, do you have an end-to-end system if the government said, look, all other vendors leave the port for GCNet alone? Do you have the system?
We do. We do, 100%. What is it that is being done that can be done? Right now, what you're doing is the pre-arrival assessment reporting system. Okay, and I'll explain that in detail, which is being done by West Blue. What is CTN doing? We don't have any interface with CTN. They're supposed to be doing some checks on valuation that is done by West Blue or the CTSB, and then you have SML. I don't know the role of SML. So CTN is actually not. CTN is doing the cargo note.
Cargo note,
yes, cargo note, which is supposed to aid in this one, and then SML is doing some sort of assurance over what West Blue is doing. So if you take West Blue, that's valuation. And GCNet has a full valuation system, which is fully automated. That has been demonstrated to GRA board, is demonstrated to relevant people who are supposed to look at it. There's risk management. It will surprise you that we actually did full risk management training last year. The Commissioner General, after a review from his technical people, they did spend 3 days here, wrote to us that we should deploy it. And then 2 days later on, for whatever reason, okay, which I don't want to go into, he was asked to withdraw that letter from GCNet.
Now, the Western Region Coordinating Council, in collaboration with gold firm Orum Monaco, is holding a 3-day event to showcase Ghana's gold. The event is dubbed the Ghana Gold Expo 2020 and is on the theme promoting zero mercury. It seeks to reinforce Ghana's commitment towards the Minamata Convention by identifying and adopting affordable and cleaner solutions to eliminate the use of mercury in artisanal and small-scale mining. The aim is to improve livelihoods and build sustainable communities. The Ghana Gold Expo is to further create synergies among stakeholders and build proper structures in gold mining. Natalia Kwanzaa has more.
A clarion call has been made to industry players, international, indigenous companies, and experts to prefer solutions to eradicate illegal mining activities, popularly known as galamsey, from Ghana. The call was highlighted by the Western Regional Minister, Dr. Kobna Otreda-Komensa, at the ongoing maiden edition of the Ghana Gold Expo in Takoradi. The minister underscored the need to trigger and propel the development of technologies and other innovative solutions to correct the menace caused by galamsey, whilst promoting responsible mining in the artisanal and small-scale mining industry.
Institutional disconnect has been identified as one of the main challenges in our fights against illicit mining activities and trade. As a region and as a country, we have had our share of the repercussions of illegal mining and indiscriminate use of harmful chemicals in mining operations. I therefore have no doubt that adopting the initiative for zero mercury, which is the theme of this expo, is a good move. Not only for us to reaffirm our dominance as a region, with the largest gold deposit in Ghana and as a country, which is among the 10 gold-producing countries in the world, but it's to also to demonstrate our commitment to sustaining the gold industry and the environment for our future generations.
Board Chairman of the Minerals Commission, Samson Boafo, assured the Minerals Commission will continue to work with all stakeholders to ensure the interest of Ghanaians.
A significant role to the economy of Ghana. The Western region where this expo is taking place is one of the major regions where gold has been mined for over a century and continues to produce gold to support the economy of Ghana. In 2018, Ghana beat South Africa, not football, but as the largest gold producer in Africa. This achievement has undoubtedly brought much more attention to Ghana and its gold mining practices. The Minerals Commission, which is mandated by law to regulate and manage the utilization of the mineral resources of Ghana, and also charged with the coordination and implementation of policies relating to mining, will continue to work with all stakeholders to formulate strategies that will enhance sustainable gold production in the interest of the good people of Ghana and all investors.
Researcher Mercury in Water Bodies, Christiana Oduma, who represented outcomes of a research conducted on river bodies, says Their study reveals high level of mercury pollution at.
And that report ending the bulletin tonight here on Business Live. My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for watching. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com. There you go, /business. We've got the day's latest stories over there for you. myjoyonline.com /business. Thanks for watching. We are back same time tomorrow.